really should be somebody introducing them onto the green. So the final of the Hong Kong International Classic Men's Pairs Championship being held in the rather unusual surroundings of the Club de Recreo indoor green. The Kowloon Bowling Green Club was waterlogged and so had to be abandoned in favour of these indoor facilities. So quite lucky, Jim, that we've got indoor facilities to repair to.
Well, we're only 200 yards from Kowloon Bowling Green Club, and very, very lucky that Club de Recreo built or had this indoor facility built 3 or 4 years ago because the Mass Transit Railroad or the Kowloon Railroad, they wanted part of their land, and as a result they were able to fund the building of this wonderful indoor facility.
It's not ideal, of course, because it's supposed to be an outdoor event, but it's marvellous to have this to come to, and the spectators have all come here in droves as well. There's a very carnival atmosphere here at the Club de Recreo, and I think thanks very much to that club for making its facilities available. The outdoor green here at Club de Recreo was used for the qualifying rounds, and quite a long qualifying process.
I think it's about time we mentioned the fact that the ladies' singles has finished since we went off air, and we played the last few ends here at Club de Recreo, and Australia managed to win the second set, and it took us into a tie-break. Very exciting tie-break as well.
Yes, very exciting, with Australia winning the first end and looking likely winners at that stage, but the Hong Kong youth pair, Amy Choi and Vivian Yip, levelled at one shot all in the tie-break, so it all depended. The fate of the title depended on the sudden death extra end, and it looked for all the world as if Australia were going to win that.
Until that second last ball, David.
Absolutely. Vivian Yip, who has made a name for herself during these championships, during the qualifying rounds and the semi-finals, and of being able to hit her target. She's an aggressive player, and with her final delivery, she delivered the coup de grace and came through a narrow gap, picked up the jack, put it in the ditch, about 4 feet away from the jack, maybe a little bit less than that, and Karen Murphy, the Australian skip, with her final delivery, was just short. Another 6 inches of running and Australia would have won the title, but as it was, it went to Hong Kong youth, and what a shot in the arm that is for bowls here in Hong Kong. They'll be celebrating that way into the night, Jim.
I would think so. That's the winning the singles, and now the Hong Kong youth team winning the pairs. Unfortunately, we're not represented, or Hong Kong's not represented in the final of the men's pairs. As on the green at the moment, as you can see, we've got Wales against Australia. I'm just looking outside now. It would appear the rain's come down again. The spectators who are outside are looking for shelter, but we're okay. We're under cover.
Yes, this indoor green at Club de Recreo has a roof, obviously, but it doesn't have any walls. So it's quite easy for people to perch themselves outside and look in to see what's happening.
We're hoping there's no strong wind then to blow the rain in our direction.
There must be 200 or 300 people here watching this final.
At least.
And they've got a treat in store with Robert Wheel and Mark Wyatt for Wales, and Nathan Pedersen and Corey Wedlock for Australia. Incidentally, Jim, I was speaking to the president of the Hong Kong Lawn Bowling Association just a few minutes ago. That's Vincent Chung, well-known bowler all around the world. And I said to him, Hong Kong will be very pleased with the results. Both the singles and the women's pairs going to Hong Kong. History is being made. Do you know what he said? He said that's only 75%.
Oh, jeez, I was looking for that. We'll need to get the men in action for next year then.
Well, he's quite right, of course, because as you were saying, Jim, here's the men's singles final, Australia against Wales, and it should be a cracker because the Welshmen have got tremendous pedigree, and the Aussie men are up and coming, emerging talent from Australia, and there's a lot of youngsters in Australia chomping at the bit to get at international bowls, and these two lucky guys here, Nathan Pedersen and Corey Wedlock, are enjoying every minute of their trip to Hong Kong.
I umpired some of their matches during the week, and very impressed with the way Wales were playing, and very impressed with Australia as well. Some of the shot making particularly by the skip Corey, absolutely superb. But to say this one should be a cracker.
Mark Wyatt there shaking hands with Corey Wedlock. Corey Wedlock, on the right of your picture there, is just 19 years of age. So what a future he's got in front of him.
His dad's here as well. Talking to his dad earlier on, David. He's come along to support.
Yes, his father Glenn has enjoyed his week in Hong Kong. Very enthusiastic guy. I don't know what the hold-up is. They're waiting for someone to cue them to start, I think. Robert Wheel has asked for permission of one of the umpires. That's what's going to happen next. Can I begin? And the answer is yes. Get underway, get the first jack of this Hong Kong International Classic Pairs Final down that rink.
Before we start with the game, Mark has asked me to say hello to on behalf of himself, to his wife and son, who he assures me will be up in the UK. They've also asked me to remind you where Wales is for the rest of the world who are listening and watching. I've said it's south of Scotland.
And west of England. There won't be any trouble translating anything that the Welsh guys say, because one of the commentators at least is from that part of the world.
And it's not me.
This is Nathan Pedersen. From the Manning Club in Perth, and he's 21 years of age.
Of course, the difficulty now for everyone is they've played all week outdoor on the grass, and now they've been brought indoor, totally different surface. It might take a few ends before they get used to it.
Bowls, of course, is all about adjustment. Long jacks, short jacks, wet greens, dry greens, fast greens, slow greens. You've got to play what's in front of you. And I don't think it'll take them long to come to terms with this.
Well, Corey told me earlier they'd far rather be outdoor even if it was raining. Lovely shot from the Aussie lead.
Yes, it didn't take Nathan long to find his touch.
I think Robert Wheel's got a pedigree as an indoor bowler, David, in the UK.
Unsurpassable, really. He's a former world indoor singles champion. He's won 2 Commonwealth Games titles outdoors. The fours he won as long ago as 1986, when he was in his early 20s.
Excellent start from Nathan. 2 shots, look at 4 or 5 inches behind the jack. But Mark has been playing some brilliant heavy shots during the week, so we'll see what he does here.
He's a flair player, is Mark, and you were talking about his wife Claire and his son Oliver Mark. Mark with a C, you remember, M-A-R-C. They'll be at home watching. She's an Irish and a Welsh international. She's played bowls for both countries.
And here's me called the boy Owen. His name's Oliver. My apologies. Lovely positional ball. Covers the two at the back.
Mark Wyatt won a bronze medal in the Commonwealth Games in Glasgow last year. That was in the triples. He skipped the triple. Big time player, bowls well under pressure. That's a decent third. Very promising start from the Aussies. Both of them finding the range on the very first end. 3 shots to Australia.
Yeah, Roach has signalled 3 down.
Still 3 down. I suppose it must have looked quite...
Enticing.
yes. But that's the trouble with the firing shot. If you miss, you get nothing at all. Can this run far enough? I don't think it can. I think Australia will have to be happy with 3 there. 1, 2, 3 taken out. And that's it.
It's just a pity we were off camera when Vivian Nips drove that shot into the ditch with her second last ball, with her last ball.
Well, it really was quite a remarkable shot,
wasn't it? Yeah.
Quite a remarkable shot. You know, you see that sort of shot played from time to time, but hardly ever with the last bowl of the game. And it wasn't exactly the last bowl of the game because Karen Murphy had the chance to draw with her final delivery and fell just agonisingly short.
Well, it was close. They had the umpires measuring it, David. I think that was the first time they were called on the green during the whole game.
Well, the conditions might be strange from the Australians' point of view, but they've taken to this indoor surface like a duck to water. Fortunately, most of the water is outside, and we are safe under the roof of the Club de Recreo indoor stadium.
One of the strange things, of course, is that during the break I spoke to a friend on Hong Kong Island, and he tells me it hadn't been raining there. I spoke to another friend in the New Territories, and it hadn't been raining there. But unfortunately, the heavens opened in Kowloon.
Yes, and how it really did pour down, and the green there was truly unplayable.
Lovely bowling.
Yes, nice bit of promotion there from Robert Wheel, pushing his own bowl in for shot.
Lovely position.
Tried to do the same. A little touch on his own bowl would have redeemed the shot. Here's Robert Wheel on the backhand. And that's not what he was trying to do. Jim, we're at the Club de Recreo, and people will say, what on earth is that? Well, there are over 30 bowls clubs in Hong Kong these days, and the game is thriving. But the Club de Recreo is one of the oldest, I believe. And does it have Portuguese origins?
Portuguese origins, and believe it or not, they played cricket here. I've got an old pal still in Hong Kong called Arthur Barnett, and Arthur assures me he took a few wickets during his spells playing cricket here. But predominantly Portuguese, Chinese. And
these days, I'm sure it would be open to anyone, membership.
I would think so, yes. But they just don't have the facilities that the other clubs have. I mean, they've got bowls, they've got obviously tennis, and badminton inside. Did you pass the badminton court?
Yes, there were some youngsters practicing hard in the badminton court when I was in there half an hour ago.
Bit shot there, that's strange from Corey. He's not been doing that very often during the week.
Left-hander Mark Wyatt strokes the bowl away on his backhand. His forehand, sorry, of course, being a left-hander. Good weight. Too many obstacles in the way.
Yeah, determined to knock that green Aussie ball into the head.
Don't think he quite made it. He was on the way. A finer touch, and that would have been in.
It loose course from where we were sitting.
On their back, the Welsh players. Decision there not to bowl that last bowl from Mark Wyatt. Keep the one shot. I don't blame him. It was a bit vulnerable. I was saying on the backs of the Welsh players, they're wearing their name, Wheel and Wyatt, but also the name Cymru, Cymru, and that's Welsh for Wales. Wales, part of the United Kingdom, and represented here very strongly with England, Ireland, Scotland and Wales all competing in this international classic.
The Irish men did well. They would have umpired a couple of their games, and yesterday or last evening when they played Australia, just the Aussies were just a bit too good for them.
Yes, Jim. Andy Duncan and Mark Wilson really hit it off as a pair, and they were outstanding in group play. They won more sets than anyone else in the men's or women's pairs.
And topped their league, didn't they? Topped their section.
Topped the league quite comfortably.
I've been impressed with the young Australian pair. They've been very, very good. And obviously, Australian bowls got a future when you've got guys like this at 21 and 19.
Yes, Robert Wheel had won his first Commonwealth Games gold medal several years before either of these guys were born. Nathan Pedersen's final delivery of the end, short with his first two.
And he's certainly up this time.
That was
But he hit his own ball.
a decent effort,
Yes.
but hit a rock. Mark Wyatt, a happy-go-lucky kind of guy. His nickname is Sparky.
Was he an electrician by profession?
No, he wasn't. I would love to know why Sparky is what he's called. He's into meat sales. In fact, he works for a Scottish firm called DL.
DL, wow.
Good bowl, counts and protects. Things getting a bit serious here for Australia. Oh, that's the answer. That's the way to do it.
Played the other hand and right into it.
Mark Wyatt will be looking for a bit of the same. See if he can push that last bowl out.
Oh,
Oh,
there's a ball in the ditch. Is that toucher, David? Was it touch?
no, that's going to be lifted out. It touched the shot bowl, but it didn't touch the jack. One shot to Australia. Is there any way that he can get that out?
I don't know. And from our angle,
Mark touched it last time, but pushed it nearer, and it's protected now. He can't get it out direct. Still playing weight at it. Looking for a result? No, not that time.
one to Australia with a ball to come. And nice position at the back too.
So, one to the
One to the
Aussies.
Aussies. 4-1 after 3 ends.
And it's Nathan Pedersen, the 21-year-old from Perth, delivering the jack at the beginning of the fourth end. Nathan is a greenkeeper. In fact, both the Aussies are greenkeepers.
I haven't seen Nathan without wearing his hat. He must be very proud of it.
In fact, after this event is over and they return home, it won't be more than a couple of weeks before Nathan makes the journey over to Sydney. He's going to settle in Sydney and join the same club as his mate here, Corey Wedlock. And he will be a greenkeeper at a different club. The club they will belong to for playing purposes is the rather famous Cabramatta Club in Sydney.
Sounds as though it was formed by an Italian.
Yes, I mean there's a lot of Scottish and English names in Australia, just as there is in places like Hong Kong. But yes, Australia is pretty multicultural. We've just seen Christina Kuristich playing in the women's final. She's from Perth, and she's of Serbian origin. She herself was born in Australia, but her parents were born in Serbia. Good head of bowls. 5 of the 6 bowls there within 15 inches of the jack. The 2 nearest belong to Australia.
Two
But-
green.
But there are some good chances for the Welsh skip, Mark Wyatt here.
I don't think he'll be short. It's a very good head of bowls. Well, that's a bit nuisance value.
Yes, and it counts as well. It's 3 to Australia. So I think Mark Wyatt will play a lot of weight at this, don't you, Jim?
Yes.
Not as much weight as I thought. But that's a good result. I don't think Wales have the shot. In fact, Nathan Pedersen thinks that Australia are holding 2 shots. That surprises me.
Difficult to tell from where we're sitting. Oh, we're back at Kowloon Bowling Green Club. Certainly looks like 2 for Australia. Is he going up to have a look? No.
Well,
Heavier shot this time.
He's been given good guidance by Robert Wheel. He trusts what he says. And that's shuffled them around a bit, but the 2 shots remain where they are. It's a difficult sort of head, this. I mean, it's a very good head, but lots of bowls near the jack. But there are almost too many chances.
And Wales certainly don't want to drop 2 shots here. That's sneaked in for another one.
Well, that's a bit cheeky. I don't think he was,
Cheeky or not, it counts.
I don't think he was trying to get through that particular gap. He'll take it. Now then, Mark, what can you say about this? Can hardly be worse off. That's it, one's right up the middle.
The 2, is that 2 out?
Yes, two went, and I think it's just 1 to Australia.
Yes, it was 1. 5 now 1. 5-1, now we're up to 4 ends.
So an effective drive from Mark Wyatt. He played exactly what we thought he would play. Something had to go, and he was hoping for a better result perhaps, but he'll settle for that. 1 down is not the end of the world. There are 5 ends left in this opening set, so plenty of time to make up the deficit as far as Wales is concerned.
Lovely start again.
The Aussies have started so well. It looks as if they've been playing indoor bowls for years. Played on carpet, of course, rather than grass. And while the principles of the game are exactly the same, there are some subtle differences.
Oh, lovely ball from Robert Wheel.
Robert Wheel comes from a bowling family from mid Wales, a little place called Prestine, and he has the distinction of having partnered 3 brothers, Stuart, Brian and David, to the Welsh Fours title no fewer than 7 times. Incredible record.
That must be an incredible family record as well.
Brilliant bowling from Nathan Pedersen there. Stealing the shot with precision. Robert Wheel attempting to do the same, but he's a little bit on the wide side, won't come back.
The weight was good.
Yes, the first time that Robert Wheel won the Welsh pairs title was back in the early 80s, and Stuart was too young to be part of the family 4 in those days, and Dad Bill played, so it was still 4 wheels.
4 wheels. You waited all day to say something like that.
Very well played. It rolled in, but did it roll out? I fancy it did, so it's only 1 shot to Australia.
Robert Wheel signalled 1 down, so he's looking at the head better than us.
Consolation applause for Mark Wyatt. He could hardly have played a better bowl, but he's made things even worse, I think. Oh, look at that. Fantastic play. Yes, continuing on the wheel theme, Jem, for the moment, that very first year when they won it, it was Bill Wheel and his 3 sons, David, Brian and Robert, and standing by in the as a reserve was Uncle John, and he was known as the spare wheel.
Can't stop laughing. Were they all members of the same club?
They were, yes. They were all members of the Prestine Club in mid Wales. And Robert's daughter, Rhiannon Wheel, is carrying on the family tradition. They won the Welsh mixed pairs together, and that, despite all his other great honours, spectacular successes, Robert will tell you that meant more to him than anything.
Really?
Winning
Really?
the national
With
mixed
his
pairs
daughter?
title with his daughter. Mark Wyatt firing, missing. He's got another one
Another
left.
ball. Back ball going in here just in case. A bit insurance.
Yeah, yes, applause from Nathan Pedersen for his skip. Corey Wedlock for that tactical move. They know that Mark Wyatt is quite partial to putting a heavy bowl up now and again, and pretty accurate with them as well. So one at the back to receive is always useful. Now, here he comes. Not so much
Not
weight
so
this
much
time.
weight.
He's reaching. What's he got?
That was just a little bit tight.
So the Australian march goes on. Another single
6-1
there.
after 5.
Not an insurmountable deficit from the Welsh point of view. 5 shots. They've got 4 ends left to put things right, but they better start soon.
A 2 or 3 at this end would change things a little bit.
I must say, though, I'm very impressed with the way these Aussie youngsters have taken to the indoor carpet.
David, I was impressed when they played outdoor, when I was umpiring their matches.
Good second. That's an absolute marvel as well. I mean, Welsh hearts must be sinking now. What can they do to stop this Australian tide?
He's been doing this all week, has Nathan? Just looking through the past records here, David, and it's surprising that Australia have never won the pairs since 1989. I mean, they've won the singles on many occasions, but it's been a long time since 1989. R. Johnson and T. Morris won.
Yes.
I've been here since 1982, and it's the second year the Classic was held, and then the one that initially, a Newcastle District Bowling Association, D. Ross and R. Dobbins won.
Darby Ross and Robbie Dobbins.
They're more your age group than mine.
Yes, Robbie Dobbins still going strong. Robbie Dobbins went to Malaysia and taught Malaysia everything that they knew. He was their first coach. Malaysia owe a great deal to Robbie Dobbins in terms of their technical skill and know-how. And he's still going strong, but back living in Australia now. The other two you mentioned, Rex Johnson and Trevor Morris, two very fine players as well. Well
Did you play against these chaps?
No, I didn't.
No?
No. I was never lucky enough to play at Commonwealth Games or World Championship level. Just within the British Isles, really. But I remember all 4 of those names and players, real characters too.
Another brilliant ball from Australia.
Them really making it look easy. reaching for the big gun again.
He's only taking one out, that's the problem.
Well, with the Australians in this sort of form, the Welsh pair must be fairly reconciled now to losing the first set, and they must turn their minds to how they are going to fare in the second.
Well, we saw it last night when they played Ireland. The lead was on the jack time and time again. The Irish were having to play heavy bowls every end.
But the sets format does open things up, because they beat Ireland quite easily in the first set, but trailed Ireland 7-3 with 2 ends to play in the second set. So it could quite easily have gone to a tie-break. It didn't, because Australia were good enough to score 4 shots over those last 2 ends to tie the set. This is good. Oh, well played, sir.
Still down though.
Yeah. Unbelievable bad luck there for Mark Wyatt, who could hardly have played a better bowl. How many?
It looks like 2. I think the marker's signalling 2.
We have to wait for the scoreboard to reflect the score. It's not, the players don't always make it clear how many shots have been scored. So it's 9-1, so it must have been 3 shots.
3 shots.
To Australia there. So after 6 ends of this first set, Australia sitting pretty, 9-1.
Again, a beautiful start.
So consistent. Well, he was just fractionally too wide. He was punished for it. The bowler just didn't come back.
Both players persisting with the backhand coming down this way. Be nuisance value though.
Robert Wheel deserting the backhand for once and trying this one on the forehand. Perfect weight for the job. Just stuck a bit. Australia leading 9-1 and holding 1 shot on this 7th end.
Could be useful on the forehand.
Yes, that was a very loose bowl from Corey Wedlock's point of view. He hasn't bowled many like that. But he's entitled to a bit of a rest. What Australia could really do with here isn't a short ball, one through the jack.
Oh, you can see the danger.
If Mark Wyatt can pick that jack up, then Wales could pick up a few shots. Didn't miss it by much, Jim.
No. And another one at the back.
Now that probably
Wow.
will save Australia if the jack does get carried through. Big discussion going on here between Wheel and Wyatt.
Well, you can see what he wants. Any movement on the jack towards the ditch, and it's 3, 4, maybe 5.
And it's crisis time, really. They need something dramatic, and they need it urgently. Got a chance,
Got a chance, it's there.
and if he could pick up 3, 4, 5 shots, well, that would really bring them right back in the game. The left-hander's backhand, played with plenty of weight.
Plenty of weight.
Oh, just held off again. Didn't miss the jack by much. But really didn't threaten it.
10-1 after 7.
Well, I'm tempted to say they might as well start the second set now. But until it's impossible for the trailing player to actually come back and win the set, they will go on playing. Soon as it's impossible for the trailing player to win, then any ends will be null and void, cancelled, redundant. There's no stopping this guy.
No, it's been like that all week, David.
Yes, he may have played like this all week, and so may Corey Wedlock, but that's outdoors, and they play outdoors all the time in Australia. These two guys don't play indoors at all. You thought, once it was moved indoors, that the balance of power would shift to Wales, because Wheel and Wyatt play indoors throughout an 8-month winter in the UK.
Is that the winter season in the UK? 8 months?
Well, a good 7 months anyway. Starts in September,
And go indoor and
finishes at the end of April.
That's why we get the touring sides from the UK and Spain. We get them in October, November and March.
Talking about
Very
Spain,
popular time.
Yeah, talking about Spain, Jim, you've been there for a few years now and you're on the bowling scene. What's it like in Spain? Is bowls coming along nicely?
Very nicely, because it's played by, dare I say, pensioners in the main. I'm in the Costa del Sol, and we have the Costa del Sol League. There's 8 or 9 clubs, 9 clubs in the first division, and we have 2 divisions. And it's going well. I think it's more popular up in Alicante way, in Valencia. Well, there's more people play up there, I would say, where it's more popular.
How about the Spaniards themselves? Are they
Very,
taking
very
to it?
difficult. Very, very difficult. A couple of Spaniards play. in my part of Spain, but we play at the wrong time of day for Spaniards. We play league matches on Friday and Friday afternoons, and starting at 2:30. That's when the Spaniards normally eat. So very, very difficult to get them involved. We've tried with the kids. I've tried to introduce to the schools in Spain, the same as we did here in Hong Kong, but no success at the moment. But of course, I reckon that the setup in Hong Kong is unique, and there were 35 clubs, and the youth development has been a tremendous success.
Poor old Mark Wyatt.
Can do nothing.
He's played very well in this game, and he's been on target so many times, but never got a result.
This has been a feature of the play the whole week.
Yes, well, Mark Wyatt has been having unfortunate results. Corey Wedlock, slightly off target there, but rubs off a front bowl, comes in for shot. Oh, a whisker away once more.
This is tremendous bowling.
He's done it again.
Tremendous bowling.
And he had the grace to apologise for that, actually. He needn't have, because he had perfect weight. And he was in the area, wasn't he?
Oh.
Now, what about this? Oh,
I think it's shake hands time
yeah, well,
with the first
it
set.
must be.
Yeah.
Well,
Well, at least he's got a smile on his face.
How many did they score there?
I would think it was 3 or 4.
Well, it's important we know to be for the record, but they're zeroing the scoreboard.
Zeroing the scoreboard.
So if it was 4 shots there, it would be 14-1 to Australia, and of course
Wales can't win.
Wales can't win the set, so the last end will not be played. We're into the second set, giving Wales a fresh start. And how often do we see fortunes change in the second set? Certainly the team that won the first set quite often feel rather complacent in the second set and don't come out fighting, whereas the team that's lost the first set know that they've got to win the second one, so they dig deep. So quite often there's a change.
He's about 10 inches away and he thinks it's a bad ball. That shows you the standard that
Yes,
he's
that's
been
right.
bowling.
Just a slight overcorrection from Nathan Pedersen, but still a useful ball.
Is there anywhere else in the world, David, where we could have been playing a game and a half outdoor, we're flooded, and now 2 hours, 3 hours later we're indoors? I don't think there is.
Well, I have to say it could happen in the UK, because there are... oh, well bowled, Robert Wheel. Would you believe there are 350 indoor greens in England alone? And so if you were playing outdoors there and got rained off, there's always the
Quickly
chance
switch.
of going inside. People don't like it because they see it as a different game. But It's the same game, really. It's a question of rolling the ball in the right direction at the right speed. Oh, what did I say about a turnaround of fortunes? A great bowl there from Nathan Pedersen. Got nothing at all. Went through the gap. In the first set, Australia were getting everything they went for. Well, that's an intelligent bowl.
Yes. Good position.
This is Corey Wedlock from Cabramatta.
It's the first time he's been under a bit of pressure.
And again, in the first set, he'd have made contact there, it would have gone onto the jack and would have stolen the initiative from Wales.
Super bowl, exactly what Robert Wheel wanted.
Probably 3. Well, Nathan has suggested a shot to Corey. I'm not quite so sure about it, so he's come up to have a look. They've not had many problems, the Australians, so far in this match. Not too many decisions to make because they've always been in control. This end is slightly different. Well, that certainly cut it down.
Robert Wheel just signalled 1, line 1.
What a good line that was. It was on track for another shot. Just gave up.
Another tap here on the Aussie bowl and Wales are 1 down again. Just that bit wider, missed it.
He was just a bit keen there, just made sure he was reaching. Felt he had every chance if he clattered in there. Overgreened it. So 1 shot to Wales. What does Mark Wyatt have in mind here? He wouldn't be trying to get rid of the nearest Australian bowl, I don't imagine.
I think that would be rather dangerous.
Just trying to draw another one, I guess. Oh, he's playing with a shade of weight. What's he got? Oh!
Very lucky to escape that one.
Yes. It was a very well played bowl, but as soon as he got the glance off the front, it looked as if he might be in trouble and pushing the Australian bowl in. Hit it, but left it where it was. So, Wales, 1 shot, and straight away, a change in tactic, Jem.
Very strange.
He's
Very
brought the
yes.
mat well up the green. Is that the right thing to do?
I would think so. You've got to break up this the pattern that the Aussies have been playing over particularly in the first set. It was long jacks, long jacks, long jacks. A change from what the women were playing this morning. It was the Hong Kong girls that were playing the longer jacks, and the Aussies preferred the shorter ones.
Backhand then for Robert Wheel, the 2010 Commonwealth Games singles champion. And so far the change of tactic has worked. It's one thing to change the length, but you've got to get your bowls to finish near the jack as well, and that was a brilliant start from Robert Wheel.
When you say the 2010 Commonwealth Games, where was that venue?
That was New Delhi, Jeff.
New Delhi.
Yeah.
On grass or on a carpet?
On grass, but in 4 years after that in Glasgow last year, Robert was of course defending his title and didn't have too good a time. That's not to say that he's not probably the outstanding bowler that Wales has produced. The only man to hold a candle to his record would be the legendary John Price.
He's now the Scottish coach. Is that the same chap?
That's right. He's switched his allegiance from Wales to Scotland and is coaching the Scottish elite in place of David Gourlay, who is retired.
His assistant, George Sneddon, was here this week, but George went back yesterday, I think, casting his eye over the Scottish. Brilliant bowls.
The Hong Kong crowds certainly appreciate good bowls, and we're seeing some good stuff here at the Club de Recreo.
Just missed. So again, the Aussies are a bit under pressure. This certainly didn't happen in the first set.
This doesn't look a difficult decision to make on Corey Wedlock's part. But before he steps on the mat, it's Mark Wyatt to bowl. The left-hander's backhand.
That's not a bad position. Covers that back bowl of Australia. Got it first time.
Applause there, both for Corey Wedlock and for the position that Mark Wyatt played his previous bowl. He must have known what was going to happen. Jack went straight to Mark Wyatt's first delivery.
If you and I did, David, I think the Corey must have known as well.
Come up and have a look at this, says Robert Wheel.
He's not a bad player for a 19-year-old.
Yes, a reminder that the Australians lead, Nathan Pedersen, is 21, and the Australian skip, Corey Wedlock, is only 19. Amazing, really, how they're playing like veterans.
During my tenure as honorary secretary here, when I used to invite the countries to come and play in the Classic, I asked for younger players to come along, and Australia were very kind. They've sent them over the years. We've had some brilliant young players here. Adam Jeffrey springs to mind, who won it back to back.
Yes, I have a feeling Adam Jeffrey won it 3 years running, didn't he?
3 years on the trot, I think, yeah. But for some reason they never won the pairs.
When was the last time Australia won the pairs?
I think, did I say it was 1989? I mentioned R. Johnson and someone else.
Yes, that was Rex Johnston and Trevor Morris. Oh, On target, the jack goes off the rink. It'll be respotted. They're respotted on the tee mark. That's a local rule for this tournament. And what does that mean for the scoring position?
I don't know, we haven't. Looks like one to Australia.
So that was a profitable strike from Corey Wedlock.
He's played some brilliant bowls this week.
Applause from Robert Wheel for effort. Mark Wyatt's bowl just trickling a few inches too far. He's had a touch of the nears in this game so far, has Mr. Wyatt. Corey got the shot by killing the end, pushing it off the rink into the respot position. Can he draw another one?
Yes,
Can he draw another one? Look at that. Inch perfect play from the young Australian skip.
Is this a champion in the making then, David?
Well, Australia seem to churn out young champions as if they have a factory there somewhere for them. They really do. And I'm sure these two are well known in Australia, but I have to confess this is the first time I've come across these two. There's been a lot of other youngsters.
Well, when I mentioned youngsters there, also the England and Ireland, all the home nations sent younger players. We had Stuart Airy and Andrew Wills winning back-to-back. Jonathan Ross and Noel Graham, are they still around in the bowling scene?
Well, they are, yes. They're not, I would say they're not young anymore.
They were young when I was here. And of course Scotland would send a young Alec Marshall, the current world indoor champion. What, 6 times he's won it or something, David?
6 times world indoor. Generally regarded to be the best bowler in the world on carpet and on grass.
There was another Welsh chap won it, Jason Greenslade. Is he still around?
He's still around. In fact, yesterday he reached the final of the Scottish International Open, which is a World Bowls Tour event. That's up in Perth in Scotland. And he was just pipped on a tie-break by Greg Harlow for the Scottish International Open title.
Well, this is not the best end the boys have played this afternoon.
Well, Robert Wee will be disgusted with himself.
We're disappointed.
3 short bowls, more than a metre short with it, all 3. Hasn't given Mark Wyatt much help on this end. Shakes his head. He doesn't need to be told.
He's not a happy chap.
Well, the control of line and length that these Australians are showing is outstanding.
That's a problem with shorter bowls, isn't it? Blocking the line.
But at least he promoted Robert Wheels' bowl into what looks like second position, which helps. It's interesting that Australia lost last year in both men's and women's finals to the Philippines. And of course earlier this afternoon, Australia's Christina Kristich and Karen Murphy lost to Hong Kong Youth. Is that the shot? Probably not.
Probably not.
So Australia have been getting into the habit of losing in finals here in Kowloon. So they're very, very keen to put the record straight here at Club de Recreo, where we're playing this Hong Kong International Classic final, because the green at Kowloon Bowling Club is underwater.
Do you remember last year when we first started the singles on the Saturday? We were supposed to be playing on Hong Kong side, the football club in Craigengower. The heavens erupted and we were all sent over here to play in Club de Recreo.
That's right, yes. That wasn't the only indoor club that was used either, I don't think.
No, we played at the football club as well, didn't we?
Yeah. It's good to see how the various clubs pitch in and help each other out. No indoor facility at the Kowloon Bowling Green Club or at Kowloon Cricket Club, the other venues being used this year. But this rink at the Club de Recreo has proved more than useful.
And it's thanks to, I'm almost certain it was the Kowloon Canton Railroad who wanted an extra station or a facility. And as part of the deal, they agreed to build this indoor facility for them. Because this was another grass green at one time.
Yes, in a sense, in the UK we wouldn't be calling this an indoor green. It's a green with a roof.
Yes.
The sides are open for ventilation and light.
And the canopies are up to keep the sun out when the sun shines. I've learned now, living in Spain, to call these things toldos.
That's a new one on me.
I've impressed you.
Yeah.
When you see when they built this facility, they would have had 3 rinks, and then as a partition must be to support something for the railroad up above, and another 3 rinks on the far side. But there's some heavy duty piping up there in the far corners.
Whisper it, Nathan Pedersen has failed with his first 2 bowls.
And that doesn't happen very often.
But Robert Wheel has failed to take advantage.
He'll be disappointed with that one as well. You can see look of disgust. What a loose end from Nathan.
Just shows he's human.
Looking at that head, it's a bit like the way I play, David.
Well, the man who commentates on bowls for the World Bowls Tour is David Corkill, and he's saying, let's get the sheepdog out to round them up. Get Rover out of the kennels. One of David Corkill's favourite lines. In with a shout.
How often does this happen when you have a loose end? Everybody plays badly.
But it does make you wonder whether the carpet has changed slightly. Has it become more humid? Has it cooled down? Has the pace changed? These things can happen even on an artificial carpet. We know it can on grass.
This is better. Much better. The Welsh need to get a few shots on the board.
A near miss, and this is surely a shot on the board for Wales, and a chance to make it two.
It's a bit short again, is he?
Oh, he's looking good.
We're looking good. That's much better. Much better from Wales. So what did they do now? Bring the mat up again?
Well, they've seemed to have weathered the storm of losing the first set, but and they're 5-1 up in the second after 4 ends, so things are looking much better for Wales at the moment. If they can keep up this recovery. This is overplayed to Robert Wheel in the ditch. The jack will go back, and it will be Australia's preference. Nathan Pedersen brings the mat subtly.
He's not
Up
had
the
the
green.
best half hour, has he, as Robert?
He's not. No, he's been shaking his head a lot. He started quite well, to be honest. Outbowled, maybe, by Nathan Pedersen, because Pedersen was on fire. But Robert was drawing very well in the first set. The last couple of ends, though, he's been a bit loose. No.
So we're 3-all in going into the fifth. That's a better start. Much better balls.
The Australian pair who lost in the women's pairs final can be seen behind the rink giving their fellow Aussies every support.
Well, this is more like it, Robert.
Well, the old Robert Wheel has returned. The old magic is still there.
I thought you were going to say the wheel is turned. Well, let's see what Corey's made of this time. I've got a feeling the jack might spring in our direction, David. Get ready to catch it.
Well, I think you were officiating at one of Wales's matches in which they lost quite heavily in the first set, but came back to win, wasn't it, against the Philippines?
That was a Philippine match yesterday afternoon, I think.
They're old campaigners, they know it can be done. That's another shot, but it's not a good one. It's widened the target. And I'm a little surprised that Corey is still pretty well drawing to this. It's a reaching draw, but it's a draw. Oh, what do I know? I think,
like me, very little when it comes to bowls, obviously.
I mean, 9 bowlers out of 10 would have fired at that to try to take something out. But
I was ready to catch it.
yes. That was superb bowling from Corey, Wedlock.
I would have thought, of course, he's a left-hander. I would have thought the other hand was better, and tapping onto the short bowl because he's got everything here this side, hasn't he? Oh, he's coming up to have a look.
Well, Robert Wheel called him up.
Yeah.
I think Robert's got some sort of idea here that he's planting in Mark Wyatt's mind. There we are. He's showing us
Yes.
how to do it. Push that one out that way. Push the jack this way. And we could come out of this with quite a few shots.
Yes.
The trouble is, even if he gets it, Corey Wedlock has another bowl left. So there are no guarantees here. But it looks like the left-hander's forehand shot, arriving at the head with a little bit to spare. Just didn't want to know.
When you mentioned the Aussie girls here to support, I'm just looking. Here's the New Zealanders coming, and the Filipino girls are there, and boys. Must be getting ready for the big parade at the end of this tournament then.
Well, that's right. The two titles, the two trophies will be presented, we understand, here at the Club de Recreo at the conclusion of this men's pairs final. And as you say, there'll be players from all over the world who have been taking part in the event, plus a lot of locals as well, who will be parading in that final ceremony. A year to remember, especially for the hosts.
For Hong Kong, yeah.
With Hong Kong players Geordie Lowe and Dorothy Yu winning the singles last weekend, with the Hong Kong youth pair, Amy Choi and Vivian Yip, winning the women's pairs earlier today.
Well, it's business as usual for Nathan after a couple of shaky ends.
Australia, who only need to tie this set, are at the moment leading in the second set by 4 shots to 3. Well bowled, Robert Wheel.
Is Robert a full-time bowler, David?
No, he's not. No, you're quite right to ask the question, because most of the elite bowlers now in the UK are either full-time bowlers or, more likely, have got bowls-related careers. But Robert is in local government. He works for the Herefordshire and Worcestershire County Council, and the last I heard, he was in the housing department. Started off in roads, and now in housing. So every big international event means that he has to go to his employers and ask for time off. And very difficult for players to square, to keep everyone happy, to keep their employers happy, the bowls community happy, because all of the demands in bowls. And of course there's the small matter of one's private life as well, if you've got one.
With me having a police background, I've often wondered how Darren Burnett gets time off his work, but I'm told he takes unpaid leave.
And that there are times when he has to turn down invitations as well. He doesn't attend everything that's on.
That's a big commitment if you've got to take unpaid leave to play your sport.
Talking of bowls-related careers, of course, both the Aussies here are greenkeepers, so they will belong to clubs who are only too pleased to spread the word and allow the player to increase the reputation of the club worldwide. Everyone knows the Cabramatta Club, which Corey Wedlock is a member of, and also Karen Murphy, a member of that club too.
Still 2 down. Wales need to win this game. To go 6-3 down after 6 ends, it's not going to be easy.
Only one bowl left after this. This is Corey's final delivery of the end. That's really, again, a remarkable display of accuracy.
But and really turning the screw.
Was it wise of him to put a bowl in that position? He's widened the target.
Perhaps not.
Mark has got to fire at this, and he could make a real mess of things.
Oh, you can see the 2 Aussie boys. Sorry, the 2 Welsh lads. Deep discussion. And in the background, I can see Barry Fleming there, resplendent in his his red shirt. I think he's a selector for Wales, is he not, David?
Well, he was on the board of directors of World Bowls at one time, and he's been Welsh president. He's held just about every position there is to hold, and not a bad bowler either.
Now, how far is this away? Oh. Still 2 down, is he?
Still 2, is it?
Don't know.
Somebody tell us.
Well, Rita Choi's turning over the scoreboard, so we'll see now.
2 shots awarded there to Australia. Mark Wyatt's final delivery merely taking 1 out. It was 3 to Oz. Now it's 6-4 after 6 ends, 3 ends to play. I'm sorry, yeah, after 6 ends. And Australia only need to tie this set to win the match by 1.5 sets to a half. So the advantage is with the Aussies. That effectively means that Wales have to score at least 4 shots without reply over the last 3 ends.
Well, that's the first of them.
Well, Nathan Pedersen, who started off so consistently, has gone off the boil.
Just a little bit. And Robert didn't take advantage of it.
He looked bewildered about that last delivery. He thought he was in a good line, but the bowl just didn't come back off that line. And it was as though he was saying, "Why aren't you bending?" But
He doesn't look happy.
he holds 2 shots. You mentioned earlier Jason Greenslade, the Welshman who won the Hong Kong Classic singles title. That was way back in 2001. Wales have never won the pairs. They've sent some good combinations out here, and they've had a few good goes at it. They've never actually won it.
Another brilliant ball from Corey.
That's another nail in the Welsh coffin, surely.
See what Robert wants.
A reaching draw onto the shot bowl, move the jack.
He's made it worse.
That's a terrible result for Mark Wyatt. If he picked the jack up, he was going to establish an almost unbeatable shot. But just touching it round the corner, He's 2, possibly 3 down, and things are looking grim.
The Rita's signalling 2.
And the Welsh faces are saying it's one of those days.
Positional ball here from Corey. Both Welsh lads having a good look at this. I think he's looking. Can you see the 3 balls going in a split here?
Well, I can't see the 3 bowls going, but what Roberts
Oh, I can-
suggesting is coming off the bowl which doesn't count, and then making contact with the shot bowl, and then moving the jack over to this side of the rink. And
The jack will certainly go this way.
it's asking a lot. Well, that was unbelievable. Went through a gap that wasn't there. And the 2 Welsh guys just exchanged glances there
Can't believe it.
and said, what can we do? Well, the answer is very little at the moment, because in a way they can't complain, because their opponents have played
very
extremely
well.
well. They've been
Very well.
outstanding. Both of the Australians have played very, very good stuff. But it has to be admitted that the Welsh guys, Mark and Robert, have had nothing going for them at all.
And at 8-3 down on the 8th end, David, things are not looking too hopeful.
Yes, 5 shots the difference. In a way, 6 shots the
And
difference.
look at this one.
Because a tie is no use to Wales at all. So they've actually got to win this set. They've got to make 9 shots altogether. And they're only on 3 at the moment. So they need 6 shots on 2 ends. And that one's not going to count.
Disappointing. You can see the look on his face. I've always said you don't stand on the mat and deliberately bowl a bad ball, but that was not very good.
Robert's body language at the moment said, let's get this over with as quickly as possible. He was on the mat ready to deliver then, before his opponent's bowler had come to rest.
And he's still bowling short.
Well, Robert Wheeler has shown us glimpses of the sort of form that has made him one of the greats. Commonwealth Games fours champion in 1986. Commonwealth Games singles champion in 2010.
That's much better. Applause from the Irish and the English and the Scots there.
Yes, Robert Wheeler, one of the most popular bowlers in the United Kingdom, and he's really got the support of the Irish and English and the Scots as well. They all feel for him, and I think they all realise that Wales have had the rub of the green going against them, but they've also had the skill of their opponents. Oh, look at this. Not quite this time, still 1 to Wales. It is possible to score 6 shots in one end in 3 bowl pairs, but Wales haven't got a chance of doing that on this end.
No.
But they need more than 1, that's for sure. Well, that's something to cheer from the Welsh point of view. Wriggling in there. Mark Wyatt, well played. And applause from Robert Wheel. Handshake. The Welsh pair full of experience. Robert Wheel 52, Mark Wyatt 38, compared with the relatively inexperienced Australians, but their skill has been paramount in this final. Nathan Pedersen 21, Corey Wedlock just 19. But for once, Corey Wedlock off target there.
And he's a big lad, is Corey Wedlock, isn't he?
Still growing at 19. Well, Mark White would love to get another one in here, but there's not much room for another shot.
Let's see short balls of Robert spoiled that one.
How many? Was it only one?
One.
Well, I thought that was going to be two shots to Wales, but I think the movement that Mark Wyatt got on the Australian bowl pushed it a little bit closer, so only one shot. 4 shots to Wales, 8 shots to Australia.
And the last end.
Last end to be played.
Need a 5.
Yes, 4 shots would tie the set, but Australia would still take the match and the championship. So, as you say, Jim, it has to be 5 shots here for Wales.
Well, that's the start they wanted. What a tremendous reply.
Well, the young Aussies look as though they've been playing indoor bowls for decades.
You'll need to ask them in your post-match interview, David, if they've actually played indoor before.
I mean, there are a number of indoor greens in Australia, but only 4 or 5.
I think the chances of a 5 are probably gone.
Yes, beautiful weight with that last bowl of Robert Wheel, but it just rolled out of the picture, and I don't think that will be in contention come the end of the end.
Yeah, I think the young Aussies are happy lads.
Yes, Nathan could hardly have done better, could he? I mean, he's got shot 4 inches behind the jack and another 2 bowls just behind that. Perfect position when you know you mustn't drop 5 shots.
And of course there's prize money for this event as well.
Yes, I know it's a bit of a cliche, Jim, but I don't think the world's top players come here for the money.
No, I don't think so. But that's been said before, David.
There are other
Yes.
aspects of this tournament which make it one of the most attractive in the world. The hospitality, the climate, and of course the fact that it is situated in Hong Kong, which is such an amazing place.
And winning this, of course, you're invited back next year. I think Australia have the bases covered. There they Yeah, not much you can do now.
Robert Wheel and Mark Wyatt are smiling at each other. It's a rueful smile, it's true, but that's all they can do.
Could that be another one?
Could be.
Rita signalling too.
So no chance of scoring the 5 that they need to win the set and force Australia into a tie-break. What has Mark got in mind? He's having a go at it, see what happens. Oh! Well, he's pushed 4 balls of various colours into the ditch.
Oh, they're shaking hands.
That would be re-spotted, and it's still Australia holding shot. So the shot goes to Australia, and so does the set at 9-4, and with it, of course, the match and the championship. The 2015 Hong Kong International Classic Pairs title goes to Australia in the shape of Nathan Pedersen and Corey Wedlock.
But by the looks of the board, they've said it's 8-5 for. They obviously didn't respot the jack, and which they've done now for photographic purposes, I would think. There's Stephanie Worth photographing the shot, the winning shot.
So congratulations to the unstoppable Australians. They played outstanding bowls, both on grass and, surprisingly, when we came indoors to the Club de Recreo. But let's have a word as well for the Welsh opposition, who tried as hard as they could and didn't have a thing going for them all game. But they would be the first to admit that they were outplayed. They were Robert Wheel and Mark Wyatt.
They've played very well all week, David. They've had a great tournament. So I don't think there's any complaints. They can't complain. The Aussies have been magnificent all week.
And first onto the rink to congratulate the Australian team is Glenn Wedlock, father of Corey, and he is the happiest man in Hong Kong at the moment.
It's chalk and cheese. The son is a big strapping lad, and the father is, I've seen more meat on the end of a fork.
Well, players from all the countries and local teams as well will be getting together now for the closing ceremony, and it only goes from Jim and me to say how much we've enjoyed covering this event, and we hope to be back next year.
Well, you've got to do some post-match interviews now, David.